That is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos. This is the part where we look through the major stories trending on the front pages of our papers. We give some in-depth analysis to these stories, and as we move on, we also take, opinions from you as regards your own submission, as regards the major stories trending on the front pages of our papers. All right, this is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM. Trends in the papers runs from now 7:41 to about 8:30. I will take a commercial break by 8:30, and we're back by 8:40 for Mainland Focus, and that's the part where you get to be a part of the conversation. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, so you can drop your submissions in the live chat section as the show progresses, and we'll take them as well. So wherever you are, wherever you go, if you do not have access to your traditional or terrestrial radio, you can always join us via Radio Garden. Just download Radio Garden app on your phone and just search for Mainland 98.3 FM and you tune in. Or you can just join us on Facebook or YouTube and we're good to go. My name is Omobola Sandra. I will not be doing this alone. I have Fuhad Sahid via the phone line waiting to join the conversation to give his expert analysis as regards the stories that we'll be looking through this morning. Today is Friday, the 20th of September, 2024, and time check right now is 7:42 a.m. Tomorrow is it's a big day. It's an important day for the people of Edo State as Edo goes to the polls to be honored to be, whether it's a 3-horse race or a 2-horse race, we'll get to know before the end of tomorrow, but it promises to be an interesting one to watch out for. We'll be giving you all the updates right here at Mainland 98.3 FM. But before we get into the major trending stories for this morning, good morning, Fuad. How are you doing?
Good morning, Sandra. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. Everything is smooth. Well,
everything is set.
Yeah, everything is smooth. Everything is smooth. Everything is set. Whatever it is that is smooth, whatever it is that is set, I don't know what it is, but everything is smooth and everything is set. Let's just work with that. Yes.
Well, again, happy birthday. Let's use this opportunity to wish Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Obafemi Hamzat, or Doctor, I think it's Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, a happy birthday, 60th birthday yesterday. So, the in there is a friend of the house. If you understand what I'm saying. So, happy birthday to the Deputy Governor, who come and collected, as I know him. And a very cerebral man, also very intelligent. So, I thought it was very important that we wish him happy birthday. 60th. That's a good one.
Well, happy birthday. That was yesterday, though. It's not.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, that was yesterday. It was very important for us to retreat that. That was yesterday to the Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Yes. Thank you very much, Fuad, for bringing that up. I totally skipped my mind. All right, let's move on now to the stories that we have for this morning. Of course, we have our papers here: The Guardian, The Punch, and Vanguard newspaper. Of course, in no particular order, but we'll kick things off with the major headline on the front page of The Punch newspaper, which is okay. Don't have that here yet, but I think let's start with Guardian. Let's start with Guardian newspaper this morning. Now we have as the major headline on the front page of Guardian Edo decides 2024. People, politics, power, and their godfathers on a warpath. And the story is on pages 4 and 5 of the Guardian newspaper. There's a lot, of intrigues that has happened in the past few months that has led up to, today and into tomorrow for Edo 2024. From Senator Monday Okpebolo to Aswe Godalo to Olumide, the emergence of Olumide Akpata, former NBA president, on the polls, and to some in more recent times, the back and forth that has been between the godfathers, Obaseki and Oshiomhole. And then the godsons, the godsons haven't really been talking for that way. We've not
godfathers and who has not been talking?
Well,
rebellious godsons who think that their godfathers have become overbearing and they need to find their own level. This godfather arrangement started with Obaseki and Oshiomhole. And then, of course, we know what happened. And then, of course, we had a Philip Schreiber who decided to align with a breakaway godson. Eventually became his own godfather, only for him to also now become rebellious to the dictates of the governor of Obaseki, and then realigning again with the former godfather. So it's an intrigue, a cycle, a web of confusion among supposed godsons, supposed godfathers and their rebellious godsons. So I think that the godsons have not been quiet. Obaseki, used to be a godson. I'm
referring to the second generation godsons. That's the one I'm referring to. The second generation godsons. I mean, Okpebolo, he has. I don't know. We haven't really heard so much.
I doubt him is a godson, Sandra. And I've told a number of people.
What is he? He's just a candidate.
He's a senator. Look, for you to win a senatorial position in a state like Edo State, you are not a political pushover. You are not because again in the last election it was keenly contested. It was tough, and if he was able to win despite trajectory of the Labour Party at that time and the fact that the governor of the PDP would have worked very hard for a PDP candidate to emerge as senator, for him to have won under the APC, which is a very strong candidate, and that Senator Adams Oshiomhole never actually worked for him to emerge as a candidate of the APC. He was actually working for Idawota, who is now the running mate for Okpebolo. That was what led to the two primaries of the APC until the property was done and then Senator Monday Okpebolo eventually emerged. So he's not a godson. I think he's on his own. And the way I'm seeing it, if the APC eventually wins, I doubt if it's going to be a governor that anybody can take to. If you understand what I'm saying, because he's an established politician.
I mean, of course, that's the role that you have to play at this point now. But I mean, from what we have seen and from the campaigns that we have been following and all of that, Monday Okpebolo has been inconvenient.
Quiet.
Yes, inconveniently quiet.
He doesn't talk. They said he's more of a doer. Really, he gets things done than talking.
So I hope Edo people will not see a repeat of, did I make any promises? It was the party that made promises. It was not me.
well, to be fair to Senator Monday Okpebolo, he has actually been talking. I think the problem is that the PDP had called severally for a debate. The normal debate where you're going to be able to speak all the grammar, where you're going to be able to show your rhetorical prowess. I doubt if Senator Monday Okpebolo has that kind of prowess when it comes to rhetoric and the ability to
you are saving this man and you are also
I'm just saying of course that's not enough excuse for him not to have attended the debate actually. But if you look at Aswe Godalo, the Lagos Purge, highly cerebral, grammar day, you understand, and his experience probably would have, I think would have been a balanced match between Aswe Godalo and Olumide Akpata. But with what I've heard from Senator Monday Okpebolo, probably they're going to struggle on the debate podium. He's really going to struggle against that. But that does not mean he doesn't have the capacity to be governor. Again, Edo people will decide. I'm here in Lagos, just in my own.
Yes, of course.
Observation.
Well, thank you very much, Saidford. Let's see what the report has for us this morning. According to the Guardian newspaper, tomorrow residents of Edo State will file out to elect a new governor. With more than a dozen contenders on the ballot, the stakes could not be higher, especially with cries of infrastructural decay, unemployment, untapped potential, and dismal education sector rent in the air. While the People's Democratic Party struggles to ward off opposition parties and maintain its grip on the state, opposition parties are girding their loins for a showdown. But the race to Osadebe Avenue is made more interesting with three former allies turned rivals. And we're talking about Adams Oshiomhole, Godwin Obaseki, and Aswe Ighodalo, playing key roles in the contest. With a quest for good governance, electorates in the state have a choice to make. So, scenarios where friends, business associates, political acquaintances, sundry characters, their interests and all, they have formed alliance to actualize their political goals and all of that. It's going to be quite an interesting one to watch. For instance, the triumvirate formed by Donald Duke, Lyle Imoke, and Gershom Bassey in Cross River after military rule in 1998 falls into this category, and it was quite an interesting one to watch when these men were in their 30s exactly successfully altered the then existing political order and went ahead to midwife a process that saw Donald Duke emerge as governor, and then he was succeeded by Imoke. But then, and it was quite an interesting one, that notwithstanding they served their 2 terms, Imoke went on to become senator, and the accomplishment went on to be known as the Three Musketeers. It was quite an interesting one. They succeeded in consigning to the trash can the concept of godfatherism and its importance in attaining political power and all of that. But while they could not taste the executive powers, the situation in Edo State would have ended up at a similar scenario if not for the fact that 2 of the 3 men that used to be, a close-knit political group are now rivals, ripping each other apart as they attempt to see who retains political power in the state in the next 4 years. Adams Oshiomhole is attempting to market Okpebo. Also, a godson to Oshiomhole is holding hands with Aswe Ighodalo, who has been a key player in the state's technocrat think tank and for years has provided brain power for innovations during Obaseki's administration. So it's just a very interesting one to watch out for, and that's why we're looking at, is it going to be a 3-horse race? Olumide Akpata, former NBA president, Aswe Ighodalo, technocrat, businessman, has quite a lot, as Fuad said, a lot of English, and then Senator Monday Okpebolo, who is a sitting senator, also not a pushover. So I don't know, it's not, the permutations are looking really tight. Can't really say which way it's going to fall into.
You want me to
predict and win? Oh yeah.
One of the 3 men will win.
Why was I expecting anything from you, Side Forward? Why was I expecting anything? Anyway, it's a prediction. It's a very, very astute one. Thank you very much. All right, but while there's quite a lot to, of course, expect. From then tomorrow, it's going to be an interesting one as we look out and watch out for what is to come. Come Edo 2024. That's the major headline on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. People, politics, power, and their godfathers on a war path. The story is on pages 4 and 5. Moving on now, we also have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, NNPCL marketers return to PMS imports over shortfall from Dangote. So we talked about this on Wednesday as regards volume. On Tuesday, with Sage, we talked about pricing. That was the problem then. On Wednesday, we talked about volume, and now we are back to we are now on importation now. All right. So Dangote coming on stream, excitement in the air. The House of Reps went there, the senators, everybody was excited. Oh, we have so much expectations from Dangote, that this should one way or the other solve our problem in this country at this time and all of that. But I remember quite clearly on Wednesday we talked about the fact that what was promised was 25 million liters, and what was supposed to be delivered on Sunday was 16.8 million liters. NNPCL came forward to say, oh, Dangote has not been able to deliver on 16.8 million liters. And Dangote, on the other hand, has said, come on, we have delivered in past 3 days, that's between Sunday and Wednesday, Sunday 15th September and Wednesday, we have delivered 111 million liters. And now the conversation still continues on the fact that, and that same Wednesday, Fuhad, there was also reports coming in that NNPCL was taking delivery of 135 million liters of imported refined.
Marketers were also expecting
141 rather, apologies.
Suddenly the fuel is not available everywhere.
Now we have excess.
Not to
We have excess supply.
The thing is just coming in from everywhere.
Once upon a time, 2 weeks or a month or so ago, NNPCL said we are owing $6.8 billion and we can't afford to, import at the moment. We don't have the money to import. We don't have the forex to import. We are not importing. And then all of a sudden, Dangote's fuel is available. And now, from nowhere, we have 135 million liters NNPCL, and the marketers are expecting 141 million liters. And Dangote is saying that we have delivered over 100 million liters.
There's no problem. We can give you what you need.
We can give you what you, and NNPCL has said, our daily consumption in Nigeria has dropped from 66 million. It is now 44 million liters. So if Dangote has delivered, according to Dangote, if Dangote has delivered over 100 million liters of fuel, what is the point of our importation?
Sandra, the point is that some people will not let go. They will not let go. And of course, I think in their war room, or what you call the boardroom, they sit down to look at these things and like, look, we can't just let go. We can't just lose out just like that. We've enjoyed this for almost 3 decades, this importation of petroleum products. That's a cash cow. It's easier for us to manipulate the entire process through importation. This guy has done the unimaginable. We kept deceiving Nigeria. We've been playing with the thought processes of Nigerians by saying one of fix our refinery. But unfortunately, this rich man suddenly thinks he can solve the problem. We thought he wasn't going to achieve it. Remember that Dangote told us that, look, while he was trying to raise money to put on this refinery, there were people working both internally and externally to ensure the refinery does not come to life. You remember that, look, there were situations where games were being played. His lenders were also playing games. There were people who were trying to frustrate. There's a way you try to deceive people that you want to solve a problem, but in reality, you're actually not even trying to solve anything. So now that we have the refinery, the Dangote refinery, these guys are okay. The refinery is here, there's nothing, and also continue to ensure that it doesn't function optimally. Luckily, we own the crude, and the only sustainable way for Dangote to run this refinery is to rely on crude supply locally. So they have that advantage over it, which Alhaji Aliko Dangote also understands. Sandra, as we speak, even the report of Dangote doing over 100 million in 3 days, the last 3 days, were from sources within the refinery. It was not really an official statement from the refinery itself. So we need to clarify that. The issue of pricing, as we speak today, to the NNPCL, who are now, of course, reselling to other marketers. The only thing they have been able to tell us is that, look, I sold it to you in dollars. How much did you sell even in that dollars? You've not been able to tell Nigeria. As we speak, there's also the problem of volume. How many liters, million liters of EMS has been able to supply the NNPCL, we don't know. Because again, like you said, they've untwist, they try to untwist the whole process. They are now the ones in charge. Basically people have to go to the NNPCL now to be able to buy from Dangote. When they did diesel and jet A1, they didn't do all of that. In fact, what they told Nigerians was that, look, the quality of his diesel was poor as compared to what they are importing. So they will continue to do this thing. My fear is that, look, hope we are not going to suddenly begin to see locally refined product becoming imported product. Sandra, there can be a situation where what you are getting locally will be accounted for as the one you've imported. Now that we don't even have any clarity on the volume that they've gotten so far from the Dangote refinery. So hope we are not going to get into that confusion where, because on this importation drive, of the NNPCL and their agents, there's a subsidy conversation. We need to even know whether what we have now, as the prices Nigerians are buying PMS, is cost reflective without any subsidy. They need to come out clear. We need to know. Because if the initial calculation of landing cost was over 1,000 naira, and we are still buying at 855, 900, depending on where you're buying from, there's still a margin somewhere. So we need to clarify that. Is that margin still on the Dangote PMS? So, you see, again, in all of this, there's this deafening, worrying silence from the presidency. And it gets people like us worried. There's this October 1. That one is another one we are waiting for. I'm sure that one is also going to be very controversial. When officially the Nigerian government will start to sell crude oil to the Dangote refinery in Naira. And then people are waiting to see whether, okay, now that we're going to be going to the Naira conversation, is the government willing to do anything to bring down the price of the product that we're getting from the Dangote refinery? What's going to be the arrangement? Is it just going to be about availability, not about affordability, or just about the conversation of reduction in the pressure that we need to put on forex when it comes to the dollar conversation? But you know what, Sandra? Because the more we go into this conversation, the more confused we're going to get. Because these are guys who are not ready to be transparent in what they are doing. It's just what it is. Don't be deceived by all the noise. And that's why you see that they are deliberately holding information. They are deliberately disinforming Nigerians, misinforming Nigerians. Because again, there's a lot that is going on that Nigerians, they don't want Nigerians to know. But again, the one that we know, I will continue to say, and I said I'm going to be, if we have to talk about the oil sector, I'll continue to repeat it, is the person Nigerians voted for, who is the president. Incidentally, is also the Minister of Petroleum. And like I said, on the campaign trail, he made that promise. That promise is what Nigerians are now waiting for. Between the shenanigans happening between Dangote refinery, the oil marketers, NNPCL, they are not interested. We didn't vote for these guys. We voted for you, Mr. President. You promised that, look, ⴏ this product, this pricing, as at the time, Sandra, the president was making that promise on the campaign trail. A liter of petrol was selling for 195 naira per liter. Remember? As at that time, when he was making the promise. And in between the promise, he said that I want it to be 200, it to be 500. So as at the time we were saying was it to go from 195 to what, or from what to what now? So at the end of the day, my own conclusion is that, look, these guys in the NNPCL, Dangote, the marketers, they can continue to play around, deceive Nigerians, all this they are doing. Well, there's nothing we can do about them. The only person we can cry to is to cry to the president to please save us from these guys who are not ready to do the right thing, who are not ready to be transparent and accountable to Nigerians. But the president has to be accountable to Nigerians because they voted for it.
Thank you very much. 4 minutes past 8. You're listening to Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't forget, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. You can drop your comments in the live chat section as the show progresses. We're currently looking at this story on the front page of The Guardian, where NNPCL and marketers return to PMS import over shortfall from Dangote. 10.3 million liters have been received from the facility. But the
why are they speaking for Dangote refinery? The Dangote guys are telling you we have the capacity.
But the group chief branding and communications officer of Dangote, Anthony Chejina, has refuted NNPCL's claim of shortfall. He said, and I quote, "This is outright falsehood. We load as the trucks arrive." That's what he said, explaining while expressing limitations on immediate provision of the data on what
what this statement is saying, Sandra, is that, look, you people are saying we don't have enough, but have your truck come and we tell you there's no product. As your trucks are coming, we are still loading them. So why are you jumping the gun and coming to a conclusion, this horrid conclusion that we can't give you enough product?
So is it a fact that maybe you don't have enough?
From Dangote refinery.
So is either Dangote does not have fuel or NNPCL does not have enough?
They are saying they have fuel. No, we can only conclude that Dangote does not have enough when your trucks come and there's nothing to give to them. But you guys are saying that your trucks are coming, we are loading them. Why come to conclusion for us that we don't have enough?
As it is now, Mr. Olufemi Shoneye has said that we must ensure energy security for the country.
You see, they started. They've gone back to energy security.
As this is a legal requirement under the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA.
They will go there again, PIA. But the PIA does not force them to go and fix their own refinery. Every time they talk about this nonsense to justify importation of PMS, they will never refer to the part of the PIA that talks about them going to go and fix their own refinery. The 4 refineries they have. Shamefully so, they have not been able to do that. After spending billions of naira, and there's nothing to show. They will they are always quick to jump onto the PIA on energy security. What nonsense energy security
Meanwhile,
are they talking about?
Meanwhile, there's also a report coming in that the low price of PMS following there's a drop at the international market, and this has encouraged marketers who have import licenses to bring in, a volume of products, including PMS. So with import landing,
suddenly marketers have not imported for how many years now? They are suddenly able to import.
They can afford to import because import landing has dropped to about 900 to 1,000 naira per liter. It used to be 1,117. And a marketer who pleaded anonymity said some marketers resorted to importing since they didn't get supply guaranteed locally because Dangote will only sell to NNPC. And what we have now is that depot owners who want PMS, diesel, and other products for all their stations and clients at the best possible price, best quality, and on a level playing field. And some of them now have to go out of the country to bring in these products.
But their sources, I think it's in the Punch or one other paper that are saying that, look, these things that these guys are now already bringing into the country, we have to be careful.
It's in the Punch newspaper, so we're going to get there.
And the quality of what they are bringing in.
Yes, it's there. This particular story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And finally, off the front page of the Guardian, we also have here outrage as EFCC's Bello arrest saga mocks $80.2 billion fraud charge. And this is, it's just, I don't know what to use. I'm lost for words of this particular report. This whole big white lion EFCC.
It's a caricature.
So we have riders here for it. Anti-graft agency declines to answer questions. Sack EFCC boss now. CD.
Who is saying that?
CD.
Who?
Center for Democracy.
I thought you said BB.
CD advises Center for Democracy. So we also have here stop charade, get serious with anti-graft laws. Uriwa tells commission rule of law applies only to less privileged. Adebi.
This is Yahoo boy that came that day. They could not grab up. Sharp.
Ugumadu. Security agencies know where former governor is hiding. It's all right. Concerns have been raised about the recent standoff between EFCC and former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello. Legal experts and civil society organizations attributed EFCC's failure to apprehend Bello, despite declaring him wanted for almost 2 months, to a culture of impunity, weak institutional frameworks, and the challenges associated with upholding the rule of law. And as of August 22, 2024, EFCC told Nigerians that they're working with local and international organizations to ensure that Bello answered all allegations of misappropriation of funds or public funds leveled against him, and they declared him a fugitive, and they insisted he would be arrested and brought to justice if he was cited anywhere in the open. That's what we have as at then. As it is now, according to EFCC's head of media and publicity, Dele Oyewale, as it is now, Bello cannot come into the open. He cannot make himself available anywhere. Because
when he was in the open, what did they do? You see, by Sandra, I had a conversation with Barrister Bakari yesterday, and he was also, trying to have this conversation with me as to the legal procedure to arresting someone declared wanted by an anti-graft agency. And so we had all of these legal conversations as to whether, or when Yahaya Bello came in, did he just sit there in his car, did he present himself, or was he really just talking about seeing the chairman, all manner of legal explanation. But I told by somebody, I said, look, if you are declared somebody wanted, Sandra, for almost 2 months, and then the person suddenly, even if you find the person on the road, Sandra, what are you supposed to do?
Grab. whisk him away.
So then the person now appears in your office, even if he doesn't step into your office, but you are still in the vicinity of the complex. What are you supposed to do?
It's certain.
Even if it's in the car, and they now said, of course, Sabaki was asking me about the question of why a sitting governor had to follow it. And I said that look, if the EFCC was serious about arresting Yahaya Bello, and the sitting governor put himself up for ridicule by interfering in the process, let them embarrass the sitting governor because he put himself up for ridicule. Why was he in that place in the first place? To do what? Was he the one that was declared wanted? If I was the chairman of the EFCC, I would have arrested Yahaya Bello, and if the sitting governor, despite his immunity, decides to interfere, I will embarrass him because he has intended putting himself for embarrassment. Now the man was there, and then he left. You now went to the government's lodge to start to go and shoot guns. Are we serious? Is it a joke? Somebody is joking with us, Sandra. And that's why the EFCC up till now, in all of their statements, have not been able to accept whether Yahaya Bello came to that place or not. Because it was going to be an embarrassment if he had come there.
It is embarrassing.
It's embarrassing if he had come. Somebody said you had declared wanted. Even the chairman was swearing by the name of his parents that look, he will leave that job if he doesn't arrest Yahaya Bello.
Well,
and then the man comes to your facility and he said it's because he sat down in the car and allowed him to go. Then you now went to the Lord to start to go and shoot guns. Are we joking here?
It's all right. Whoever it is that is joking, it's okay. It's okay. Because all we have now is, according to a source, Bello arrived at the EFCC headquarters and he was in company of Usman Ododo, who is the current Kogi State governor. And he reportedly spent over an hour in his car. He didn't come out. And he said the ex-governor was later told that the EFCC chairman did not want to see him. The chairman was said to have snubbed him and left the headquarters complex. Once it was clear that the EFCC chairman did not want to see him, he returned to Ododo's car and they went to.
Sandra, somebody you declared wanted, though. Is it about the chairman seeing or not? Even if it was necessary, tell the gate man to hold this agbada. Come along.
He was
not declared somebody wanted.
He was not.
Who has been declared wanted? You don't understand what I'm saying.
And the whole thing is just really ridiculous at this point forward, because if you look at it, when he now left, they now issued a statement. You are a wanted man. A wanted man came to meet you. Here I am. Use me. And you said no, you are chosen. Go.
And then later you now say you have been wanted.
And then you say
even though you are chosen.
Look, that's it. So, anyways,
what a miracle.
That's a big one. Who knows the kind of prayers they prayed before he left the house?
They will see me, but they will not be able to touch me.
They will see me, but they will not be able to touch me.
Because I am chosen.
Anyways, on this particular report, Center for Democracy, a prominent civil society organization, has said it was unimaginable that the former governor, whom the EFCC had placed on a watch list and for whom the commission enlisted security agencies and even Interpol,
I think there's a bounty on his head itself.
Yes, to apprehend him. Even
anywhere you think grab him for all.
Exactly. And he was there. He waited for 3 hours. He was not arrested. He was not interrogated.
I need to consult Yahaya Bello. What the man they use,
And you know, according to this report, they said, you know, they couldn't arrest or interrogate him in their office because you know his governor was there. Because his governor was there.
African power deal.
Anyway, it's a long read. You can get all of the details on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. As this EFCC, very embarrassing situation.
You know what they call Madarikon?
I do not know.
Locally.
I don't know. I do not know.
They will see you. They will be looking at you like this. All their memory will just. They will be looking at you like, is this the person we are looking for? If it's when you have gone that they will now realize, maybe you the person we are looking for. Maybe that was what you. It's a big testimony of what your enemies will not see you, even if they are in front of you. It's Madarikon.
That's it. So anyways, well, that's it. I guess the white lion has become the white lion once again and no longer the white cat. And so
that was a big victory for him. Actually,
I'm telling you, whichever way we look at it, I mean that shows the power.
You wanted me? I'm here 3 hours in my car with full air condition, just chilling. You can't see, you can't arrest me.
Okay. Was probably even scrolling through TikTok while he was in the car. Anyways, the stories on to discuss on political roundtable, because I have here Fubara's loyalists are to contest council election under APP, and that's another story.
Strategy.
Yes,
strategy
look at that. So he feels that he has lost control. Yes, exactly. He feels that he has lost control of the PDP in the state. Of course, he can't send them to APC, so he has told all his loyalists who want to contest.
The good thing, you know this strategy, because from a lot of the political funds, the reality is that now that I have told the chairman go to the APP, we know that the state independent electoral commission that will conduct local elections is always in the pocket of the governor. They decide what eventually happens. We know how local government elections are conducted in Nigeria. Sandra, all these chairmen of the APP will win that election. So automatically it's taking over the structure at the local level. That's why my mind tells me that the local government election in Rivers State may become very problematic, because the PDP guys are going to know that, look, this governor is gradually moving the structure of the state to the APP. It will now be maybe the governor will go to the APP if eventually the PDP is not able to sort itself out. If you look at their stories in the Punch, and I think even in the Guardian, that shows that the PDP is not serious as a party. If there's any party in Nigeria that is the most unserious,
it's in the Punch, and that's why we know that we can get there. Yes.
So I like that Fubara is already planning. Because you can't be dealing with people like this.
But at this point now,
they're going to mess him up.
At this point now, my thoughts and prayers are with PDP. Both at the
they are not. Like they always say, you pray for people who are willing and ready to work for your prayer to work. You are praying for someone to pass exam, and the person is not reading, is not studying. No matter the prayer we pray for the PDP, because they are supposed to be the major opposition political party, the major stakeholders in the party are not serious. You said Victoria, you understand why I'm saying they are not even serious.
Well, when we get there, we'll definitely take it. 18 minutes past 8, and you're on to the trends in the papers on mainland 98.3 FM. That's all the stories that we can take off the front page of the Guardian. The Fubara loyalists to contest council election under APP. The story is on page 29 of the Guardian. It's quite an interesting read, and we look forward to further conversations on Political Roundtable on Sunday by 6 p.m. as regards that particular one. Moving on to the Punch newspaper, the major headline is Edo poll. Military man's states boundaries. EFCC goes after vote buyers. And we have riders here. Security agencies in show of force. Government declares holiday. Materials arrive in the local government. INEC upbeat of success.
Local government.
Yes, 18. And the story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. A lot is in full gear for Edo 2024. All right, moving on from that particular story, we also have here on the front page of the Punch newspaper, just above the masthead, Damagum, 4 governors back Wike's support for PDP chair, and that story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. So what we have is that there is no resolution in sight to the crisis that's rocking PDP, because calls to replace its acting national chairman Umar Damagum have deepened divisions within the PDP Governors Forum. A senior member of the PDP National Working Committee who spoke anonymously revealed that in addition to the backing of Wike, Damagum has the support of at least 4 other governors from the party. And he identified the governors. Seyi Makinde of Oyo State.
This is number 1. He has said that himself.
Amadu Fintiri, Adamawa.
I was surprised to see that yesterday too.
That was, I don't know. That came...
shocker for me.
Yeah, it was like breeze.
Because he was in his place. No, he was in Taraba State actually, they met. But Fintiri, I thought.
Well,
Fintiri is supposed to be the governor from Adamawa State.
Fintiri is not the only one that shocked me.
Yeah.
Agbukefas of Taraba State is also, an interesting, game changer in this movie. Exactly. And then we have Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State as well. So these are the 4 governors, who have been identified as working with Damagum. And according to the source, Enugu and Zamfara, that's Peter Amba and Dauda Lawal, are neutral. They are neutral. Yes. Let's be watching. Yeah. The remaining 7 governors are working to oust Damagum. The anti-Damagum governors are led by Bala Mohammed, Bauchi State Governor, who is also the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum. And of course, you have with him Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, Edo, Godwin Obaseki, Bayelsa, Doyediri, Rivers, Siminalayi Fubara, Delta, Oborevore, Akwa Ibom, Umueno, and all the other ones who are now back in Damagum. So since
the party among divided 7-2-4.
Can't reach it.
Is that a serious party?
Look at that. Just look at that. And then you now have, one of your richest states, moving its local governments to APP, and the fact the crisis.
Fubara has to do something. Fubara has to be.
That's what I'm saying, that PDP doesn't seem to understand the precarious situation that it has found itself as the major opposition in the country.
I am going to make this prediction again. I posted it yesterday.
So they will choose their candidates for them.
Not careful. It is the APC that will choose a presidential candidate for them in 2027, the way they are going. I am telling you, again, write it down somewhere, that the PDP, that party, if they are not careful, the way they are going, the APC, you will begin to see that, the APC has chosen a presidential candidate for them. And that's what's going to happen, if they are not careful.
All right. Well,
and that's why I like what Fubara is doing. I can't, if guys are not serious. Yes, they met somewhere, all the governors met somewhere and say, look, I'm the leader of the party in Rivers State. But what they are doing does not show any commitment to that pronouncement. They're going to mess me up. As of yesterday, pictures emerged of 𝐶̀yìmákindé, Tʶᴇᴇ, and Nᴇᴏsᴜ. And my mind is like, look, if 𝐶̀yìmákindé had the opportunity to ask him, are you happy with what Wike is doing for your party? How is tearing your party apart? You stay in your state and complain about the presidency and their actions. At the same time, you cannot tell somebody that you know is working across opposites and tearing your party apart. Our politicians can mess with your brain and think, Sandra, politicians, what is going on in their head, the way they think, I don't know. And I want to say that with the way they are going, you see, we are here now, God is still alive. This PDP. And that's why I'm thinking Fubara, people who are telling him, don't rely on these people.
Well, let's not forget very quickly the threat issued by Nyesom Wike on August 31st when he threatened to disrupt activities in the PDP states if they continue to interfere in Rivers State affairs. And in turn, of course, they have condemned that threat as irresponsible, and he has maintained his own position that he will not withdraw his threat as regards that. They have also, countered that as well, that they have dismissed his threat and indicated that the North Central would propose Damagun's successor.
𝐶̀yìmákindé was with Wike yesterday to see the hypocrisy of our politicians. He was on the podium campaigning for ⴍ and saying that, look, he is committed, he is happy, and he's going to do anything to ensure ⴍ wins in Edo State. The same man is friend and was having meeting with a Wike that is saying that no, nothing concerned with ⴍ and the PDP in Edo State, who is practically now working for the APC in Edo State. Is that a serious party?
That's just like I said, thoughts and prayers are with PDP. Wish them all the best. Moving on now, the stories, we are still on Trends in the Papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. It's 8:24 a.m. We don't have so much time. We have so much to cover. Forex crisis, PZ cushions to sell Nigeria subsidiaries and others. That's the story on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. What we have is multinational consumer goods company PZ Cushions says it has commenced plans to sell its African subsidiaries to any interested buyer. So Fuad and I are on our way to make some investments. The parent company of PZ Cushions Nigeria said
it's not a joke, bro. The guys are telling you that, look,
said it is looking for a partial
of your naira.
Yeah,
they are tired. They are just tired.
Looking for a partial or a full sale to mitigate the company's exposure to fluctuations in the naira, which has devalued by 70%. And they stated this in their preliminary result that was published on their website. That was which ended.
And they said how much they've lost.
Yes,
about 1 year.
The documents read that over the last 12 months, we have made continued operational progress and delivered against the strategic priorities set out against the backdrop of macroeconomic challenges. At the time, we are taking important steps in trying to transform our businesses and all the financials. We have worked hard to mitigate the impact while continuing to serve Nigerian consumers who are facing unprecedented inflation and economic difficulties. It, however, noted that revenue in its UK personal care business has improved to a year of profitable double-digit revenue growth. So, therefore, we need to just...
they want to focus on that one.
On that one.
And leave this one.
Making them more money. We can't...
Yes. But again, this news is coming just as the presidency was celebrating the announcement by the Coca-Cola Group that
$1 billion. I think
I
need Nigerians to understand the fact that $1 billion, it's not like they are dropping the money now. It's an investment, over a period of time, 5 years. As against the purchasing power of the people, I don't know if that is something that we should celebrate.
I know for companies like Cᴏ this PZ,
yes.
They do all these products that help. Apart from the issue of the devaluation of the naira that has affected whatever operations they have. So when we say these things, that if as it is, the way they are talking about it, people are probably going to lose their jobs because the new buyers may downsize their entire production capacity. Yes?
Thousands of people will lose their jobs.
So again, when we say these things, I'm sure people are paying attention.
That's just really unfortunate. Anyways, please note that the company's closed period, which commenced on September 1st, 2024, will remain in effect until 24 hours after the release of the unaudited financial statements for the first quarter to the market. So there are plans in place. They're putting things in place to to buy out minority shareholders and delist themselves from the Nigerian Stock Exchange. It's really, it's really unfortunate.
That's what they're trying to do.
It's a very, very painful one. It's a very painful one. Just as painful as it was when we heard of GSK.
left.
Yes, and now we are hearing Tʀᴇɪᴅs. Tʀᴇɪᴅs, a lot of our care products in this country they're responsible for. I really don't know who is next on the table. The story is on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Finally, of the front page of the Punch, we also have this story here. Dangote officials, refiners tackle marketers over imported PMS. That story is also on page 19. We don't have so much time, so I'll just glaze through it. We have here Dangote crude oil refiners and officials at the Dangote Petroleum Refinery have kicked against the commencement of importation by major oil marketers. They said that some imported fuels were of low quality when compared to the one that's produced by Dangote, which is the position that was reiterated by officials of the refinery. What we have now is that 3 major oil marketers are expecting vessels of imported petrol this week, and they said about 141 million liters of PMS are being conveyed to Nigeria by oil vessels. Excuse me. So what we have now is the source, is giving reports that they are importing substandard fuel, and if allowed, they will not stop importing such. We have more than enough, but these guys don't want it. They want the game to continue, but the game will not.
We have more than enough.
We have more. That's what Dangote is saying. These people are importing dirty fuels that are toxic. That's what Dangote Refinery is saying. And we have more than enough. So why are they still doing this? Let's not forget very quickly.
And then NDPRA is telling you that, don't worry, what they are bringing in will subject you to 3 levels of test. But when Dangote asked an NDPRA the last time, where is your laboratory? Show us your laboratory. Have they answered that question?
So basically, it's just trying to maximize profit because, the quality is really bad based on the blending facilities that they are using from this imported one. Exactly. The story is on page 19. It's a really unfortunate one that we have. Dangote is insisting we have more than enough. There is no need for you to bring this in. But then the conversation as regards, we will still continue to bring it in. And I like the same people that cried to the president and said that Dangote is selling cheap diesel is affecting our business. Look at that. And these are the same people who could not, for decades on end, could not import fuel. All of a sudden, Dangote has fuel, and now they can now import fuel. This is an interesting one. You can get the details on page 19. That's all we can take this morning. Unfortunately, we can't, run through, the stories that we have here on Vanguard. But there's a headline here that is very important that you may want to check out later, and that is as regards hiked petrol price has rendered 70,000 naira minimum wage useless, and that's coming from NLC. And that's on page 2 of Vanguard newspaper.
After doing both, you now realize
So that's all we can take for Trends in the Papers for this morning. Thank you, Fuad, but please be on standby. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back by 8:40, we move on to Milan Focus, and that's the part where you, our dear listener, you get to be a part of the conversation. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, and we are the sound of Lagos.